Welcome to your Barbados Today Evening News Update for Monday, March 16. Government warns it is prepared to introduce price controls if the practice of price gouging takes root. Amid fears of the COVID-19 outbreak, citizens have rushed to stock up on sanitizers, cleaning agents, and protective gear. However, some consumers now charge that prices have since escalated. And today, Minister in the Ministry of Finance, Ryan Strawn, urged Barbadians not to engage in panic buying, even as he warned the business community.
The Ministry of Small Business has been monitoring progress with respect to that. It is something that the government clearly has undertaken that we, if required, we may have to reintroduce some measure of price control with respect to these things. But I urge Barbadians, to not do those things that will potentially put the lives of our families and our friends and our co-workers or our colleagues at risk, because people feel that I can go around to all the little mini marts, sir, and buy up all the things in order to resell to people. It really is not Barbadian, sir. And I want to encourage Barbadians to do the right thing.
Minister Strawn was speaking during debate on the appropriation bill in Parliament. He maintains the island, which to date has not recorded any cases of the deadly virus, is fully prepared.
If and when cases of corona arrive in Barbados with the population, if we're able to contain it in those numbers, then, sir, we will be lucky, because it means that we would have built capacity, sir, sufficient capacity to be able to deal with that. So if those numbers are right and there's no further second wave or third wave where we see increasing with respect to the numbers in China, and we can say that within some level of confidence, sir, that we could translate it, that we could limit it to less than 20 persons, then I think we would have, in a sense, sir, sufficiently contained, because with those kinds of numbers, we could do contact tracing very easily with those kinds of numbers and be able to deal with it.
Fears about the COVID-19 virus forced workers at the Sanitation Service Authority to stage a brief work stoppage today. The workers raised concern about the lack of safety gear for COVID-19, a medical insurance plan, the resumption of the Health and Safety Committee, among other matters. Environment Minister Trevor Prescott told reporters the workers had genuine concerns. He assured that workers would receive the necessary sensitization and protective gear.
I just heard that there are some available, but since last week, you were supposed to have dispensers at different strategic points. We were also supposed, since last week, to sensitize the workers to the precautionary measures that are required in the present circumstances. But we also had to be able to balance that. We're not trying to create any fear.
Minister Prescott also committed to finalizing the medical plan.
The management has already received quotations from all the private insurance companies. The management has already forwarded the correspondence and the recommendations to the Ministry of Finance. The Ministry of Finance has to comment on it. Obviously, when you put a medical plan in place, an insurance medical plan in place, a health plan, you have to really go into great details, because you don't want to start something that you can't end. And we have to be able to sustain that program on a long-term basis.
Deputy General Secretary of the NUPW, Wayne Walron, was also upbeat about the talks. He says settling the medical plan is critical for the workers.
Sanitation workers who risk their lives to collect garbage from across the landscape of Barbados, to the extent that you have early deaths among sanitation, are more than deserving for medical plans. So there's still this commitment. The minister give a reassurance that his government is still committed to the process of having this medical plan in place. He will continue to monitor that situation, and we are happy of this commitment. This is something we'll keep following vigorously, because the medical plan is one of those very pivotal issues that the Sanitation Committee is pushing on behalf of all the workers, right?
There's regional and international news after this short break. It's Festive Friday at the Bridgetown Night Market at Pelican Craft Center. Kick off the weekend this Friday from 4 p.m. to midnight with loads of food, drinks, and entertainment. Get ready for Crop Over with the Rhythm Roots Street Parade. Party like it's Kadooman Day on the street around Pelican Village with costume reveler, music, and more. It's Festive Friday. It's Festive Friday at the Bridgetown Night Market at Pelican Village Center from 4 p.m. to midnight. Admission free.
To regional news now, the Trinidad and Tobago government today announced that only nationals will be allowed into the country for the next 14 days as it seeks to establish a sterile environment to curb the rise in the number of cases associated with the coronavirus. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley, speaking at a news conference following a special cabinet meeting, also outlined several other measures, including the closure of bars, schools, and new economic policies, as the country records 4 positive cases of the virus over the last 48 hours. He assured that the measures are in the country's best interests.
What the government is doing by way of policy is to say to the population and to act to protect our health. We will protect your jobs. We will protect your families. We will protect this economy as far as we are able to, and the businesses in it. And we will set out to protect our country. And that is the policy against which the decisions that we are going to take in the next 48 and 72 hours will determine how we respond in this emergency.
On the international scene, coronavirus fears lead to a historic drop in U.S. stocks, shut down borders, and disrupted daily life around the world as governments took increasingly drastic measures to try to reduce the severity of the global outbreak. More in this report from Reuters Television.
The Dow plunged nearly 3,000 points Monday despite the Fed's emergency action. The central bank's surprise interest rate cut and pledge to buy more bonds only served to fuel investor worries over a potential recession from the coronavirus pandemic. Stocks suffered their biggest one-day drop since 1987. The Dow shed almost 13%. The S&P 500 plummeted 12%. Eric Clark is a portfolio manager at Rational Funds.
Well, it tells you it's a one-sided market. It's right now, buyers are completely absent. Algorithms and just general sellers have complete control. And so in a one-sided market that's very illiquid, you can push the market around any way you want short term, which is causing a lot of this obvious kind of concern for people.
As investors dumped risky assets to raise cash or sought safety in fixed income, Treasury bond yields fell. That hurt interest-sensitive financial stocks. Shares of Bank of America, Citigroup, and Synchrony Financial dropped sharply after the biggest U.S. bank said they would stop buying back their own shares and use that capital to lend. Another steep plunge in oil prices yanked down Apache, Chevron, and other energy shares. As the coronavirus spreads fears of a recession, most of the S&P 500's gains under President Donald Trump have disappeared.
That's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media and bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM.